Plot twist. Still alive! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Plot Twist, Still Alive! I am your hostess with the mostest, 3-time cancer survivor and chaos coordinator, Krystal with a K. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming back. We just wrapped up our National Cancer Survivor Month and Pride Month for June. And I realized doing all of my content recently that I got a lot of feedback when I made this like 12-second video about toxic, abusive, narcissistic people. And it's funny because I was actually talking about a woman and a relationship dynamic between friends, but so many people came in there. Most of them had experienced this. It got like 700,000 views up to today, and lots of men in the comment section too. A lot of them seemed to be of the toxic variety because they were like personally attacking me and calling me names. And they all thought that this was about a romantic relationship. And I'm like, no, motherfuckers, there are so many toxic relationships out there that can start with your parents or family members and go into work environment, relationships, friendships. After seeing how many people, obviously this is a point so many people get, I really want to take the time to talk about this, give people the signs, what narcissistic traits are, but also the types of traits you want to avoid in general in people, because not everyone that's toxic or abusive is a narcissist, but some of them are. And either way, we really don't want to have toxic trash in our lives. And I also want to talk about the abuse cycle some. So I figured I had to bring back my OG, the one who helped me start it all, my ride or die. Everybody give it up for Sarah. We both did the bumper.
The 90s things to do, okay?
It really is. That's not wiggity whack, is it?
No, not at all.
The kids would say cringe. You and I have both experienced toxic people early in life, and you also were there for my abusive relationship. If you have not listened to it yet, I have an entire Survivor series. It's a 4-part series called X, and many people know that I am a cancer survivor because that's something that happens to you. But whenever you're an abuse survivor, and I, again, dealt with some of that in the comments, people blame you for choosing the person. They talk down to you. Well, what's wrong with you? Why did you allow it? And I finally told my story, and it took a long time, but I owe nobody silence. I'm not going to be quiet for my abuser. I wanted to educate other people that might be in this. And I told my story because I feel like if it helps one person, then me enduring it is worth it. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Even if that's helping somebody not feel so crazy in their own relationship. And
I will give some updates about X at the end for anyone that hasn't listened, but there will be fucking spoilers. So if you have not listened, go back and listen. Just so you know, it was before we had video. It's just me fucking talking to Sarah, and it is triggering. Everything we do here is 18 and up. And if you've been abused, especially in this way, by somebody that might have narcissistic traits, this might be really difficult for you. But we're going to do this episode just like we do every episode, and we're going to have a shit ton of fucking humor involved because whatever doesn't kill you makes you fucking hilarious. We want this to be educational. We want people that have experienced this to feel validated. And when we say toxic, we're not like, oh, they're mean. We're talking about abusive behavior, things that are harmful mentally, emotionally, and physically. So one of the biggest things that I would say that I experienced throughout is gaslighting. And whenever I was gaslit, I was made to believe that I was a toxic one. I was a narcissistic one. Again, all these strangers on the internet say that after a 12-second video. So I figured, what better way to find out than go over the narcissistic traits? They need 5 out of 9 of these to even be considered narcissistic. That being said, Sarah and I hold no licenses for psychology or psychiatry. We simply know how to Google shit, as do you. But we did it for you. You're welcome. So we're going to go ahead and go through these. And Sarah, I think it would be good if we said if we thought
about
the other
each other,
person.
of course, yes.
Yeah, we're diagnosing each other.
Don't be nice now. You be honest, okay?
Honest, 100%. Honesty is a big,
We
big
ain't
part
friends
of it.
because we're been sugarcoating stuff, okay?
No, we're friends because we're brutally fucking honest with
Yes.
some cheese on it.
Jeez.
All right. So the first one is grandiose self-importance, inflated sense of superiority. Hell yeah, brother. And exaggeration of achievements. No.
Yeah, no.
Not you at
You
all.
are absolutely no. You
No.
actually, I have to remind you, well, remember when you did this? Like, that's something you should be proud of yourself. It's like you never do enough. And I'm like, girl, You really need to take stuff off your plate. You've done enough. Yeah.
I'm the extreme. I could
Mhm.
cure fucking cancer. I wish I
And
could,
you'd still be
actually.
like,
I'm a piece of shit.
I don't do anything with my time.
I do nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah. Okay, same. You're very humble. You will do things that are fabulous and great, but you never talk about it at all,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. And
Lack
yeah,
of
grandiose. So only other thing I could say is that you do, if you're going to do something, you do like to do it big. That's the only grandioso thing about you.
I think that's just because I'm an extra bitch. I will say, always got to bring up cancer, right? My cancer card. It's because I truly live life to the fullest. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to fucking do it. Still to this day, my wedding, Drew and I's wedding, everyone, it was their favorite thing on the planet.
Amazing.
Best
Yeah.
wedding I've
I
ever been
wish
to.
every single one of you guys was a part of that wedding because it was super fun.
Well, not all. I don't know all of them yet, but most of you would probably have been invited if I knew you. Okay. Lack of empathy. Ain't no fucking way. You have too
Yeah,
much.
no, we have too much. You do have too much. Sometimes I'm like, why are we entertaining this person when it comes to you? But we're great listeners and we have great poker faces.
You really are like a bullshit meter for my friends. You have hated every one of the ones that was fucked up. And even the ones that you hadn't met yet, if I talk to you about them, you're like, "Nope, fuck this
Don't
person.
like them.
I don't know.
Don't like them. It's like I feel the energy already. And I'm like, yeah, no.
It's going to be a no for me, dog." Yeah.
But I still entertain it sometimes. Still cordial, do all the things. And then
But then you're like, "I told you so." You had to say it.
later, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I need
I
that.
say it
I
in the
deserve that.
beginning and then at the end I say it. But nothing really in between.
I have learned at this point, I'm not befriending other people without you meeting them first. So, and you are one of the most empathetic people I know. People that are toxic, specifically with narcissistic traits, they want people with this quality because you will
Mhm.
listen to them. You'll listen to them talk about their hardships. You'll want to help them. You want to fucking fix them. You cannot. You cannot fix them,
Mhm.
but don't think that it's because you're weak or there's something wrong with you. It's because they know that you're a forgiving, loving person. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
and teens and early 20s, maybe even early 30s, I was entertaining it. I would try to help, but now in my mid to later 30s, I'm more like I will listen, I will take it all in, but then a lot of people want to use it as manipulation or try to pull you in this direction and that direction and they try to paint this narrative about who they are. My older self now, that card doesn't work for me, and then they're shocked whenever
You see right through them.
yeah, yeah,
You throw
and
the
then they
bullshit
blow
flag.
up, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, "Gosh."
Oh yeah.
Mm,
No, they
yeah,
can't have that because then you
no,
know. You
and then
know and
I'm crazy, and then they start wanting to pull stuff out, I'm like, and back in the day, I would maybe share some stories and stuff, now I'm like, no, because 'cause you're gonna use this against me if I know if now that I can call it."
so fucking smart of you now.
Yeah.
Now in my 40s, I just turned
How many
40.
times has that happened to both of us?
Both so many. More times than I can
Too
fucking
many
count.
times.
If I had a dollar, bitch, that's how many. We
Easy.
don't know yacht, at least.
Yeah.
So we're both empathetic. So far, we're doing good. Excessive admiration need, an insatiable craving for constant praise, attention, and validation. Insatiable.
Insatiable. Does anybody know what insatiable means? Oh my gosh. It's like being like starved of something and they absolutely need it. No, you are not that at all. Absolutely not. You do like to be, just as I do, like to be acknowledged, but no.
I like being in
You're
the public
probably a
eye.
little bit more on the that side than I am, but insatiable? No. Absolutely not.
No, I think I like doing it because I'm good at it. I'm
Right.
good at talking to people. I'm good at public speaking and evoking emotions. So, of course, I want to do it. But then I saw that thing where I'm like, but I'm a piece of shit. So, do I have the need for excessive admiration? I like it. Insatiable makes me think of you and I are foodies, like fucking thinking about food for hours and wanting to eat. Yeah. What are
Wheat thins.
wheat thins? Okay.
I have 4 boxes in my pantry right now. Just
So we're looking for sponsors. Wheat thins. That's your free. That's your freebie. And then we can do some ASMR like for yeah. Moving right along. That's a no also. We're 0 for 3. Perfect. Sensation of entitlement, expectation of automatic special treatment, and compliance from others.
no,
No.
no. Actually, no. You even when there was moments where you may have an entitlement because you knew somebody or whatever, you're very modest about it.
I'm not a name dropper.
No, you're like, you don't even mention it, not unless somebody asks, you know what I mean?
Even
But
then,
yeah,
mm-mm. And I don't
mm-mm,
expect anyone to do anything for me. I
no.
honestly am the
Actually,
opposite.
you go and do the hard way, and then your friend is like, "We could get you in." And you're
Right.
like,
We could
"Oh,
just
no,
do
no,
this.
I'm fine." They're
No,
like,
it's
"No,
fine.
for
I'll
real."
I'll make my own way. I know how to build a house. I don't need anyone to do it for me. You and I are both extreme independent people, so that's definitely not a thing. Okay. Exploitive behavior. I guess actually this is where what I just said would fall under more. Taking advantage of people to achieve personal goals. I can't read. To achieve personal goals or boost ego. No, absolutely not for you. You
No,
are one of
not for
those
you.
you're one of those people that you're always doing for everybody else. And you honestly are thankful and you're grateful, but you never like use anyone for
Eh,
anything. It makes me feel weird when people do shit for me.
no. If anything, if you even if you were to ask somebody, which is very rare unless you knew they had like an arch for something, you're like, "Well, what can I do for you?" And you're like overcompensating for
Quid
even
pro
having to
quo.
ask. Yeah,
Yeah. When
exactly.
when I worked for the nonprofit, I would have to get free shit for the nonprofit. I never was like to people I knew personally, like, give me this free shit. And here's the thing that one, I know a lot of people like that. That one gives me the ick 100%, makes my fucking skin crawl. If you are using someone for something they can do for you, you're nasty. That's the type of toxic shit I avoid at all costs.
Yeah, I agree.
We're great. We're not as toxic as
For
we
those of
thought.
you in her DMs or her little comments over there, you're getting proven wrong. Just say,
We showed you, motherfucker. What's the next one? Hold on. This one's fucking weird. Preoccupation with fantasies. Focus on unlimited power, wealth, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. Okay, you and I joke about getting famous all the time because
yeah,
we're manifesting.
we're manifesting, absolutely, and we'll get there. Well, she will anyways. But I think I know where this one it's referring to, and we say this all the time, is they live in La La Land. They live in the world that they've created, and it's scary.
It's
It's
really
scary
scary.
how they think they're on the top of the world. They're achieving all of these things and I'm good at being confident. Like I think I'm a pretty confident person even when I was much larger, but they are on another level of confidence. It's crazy scary.
That's different. You had to learn to self love and work through some shit, as did I. I come off as confident, but you and I both know deep down there are times that we hate ourselves, hate our bodies, like most women, I think, and men
Mhm.
too. Men struggle with this as well. But I think it's more prevalent in women. No, when you're talking about living in an alternate world, what's really fucked up is that the people around them, especially their partners or like friends, if you don't play into it, you're just as fucked up. I notice these people
Mhm.
talking about how much money they have all the time, how successful their business is in mixed company when that's irrelevant. That has nothing to do with anything. So
Right.
same
No.
same thing.
And
That
people that
grosses me
do,
out.
like, build themselves up in front of people they don't even know, or even people that they do know, and they just especially when you're in a spousal relationship, they're looking at the other person like, "Don't say anything, go along with it," and that's the scary part too.
I've been in friend dynamics where that was a thing, where they're talking, especially money, talking about
And you're
money.
like, "I
And
don't wanna embarrass them, but
wow. Well, it
no."
sucks because if
Yeah.
you're one of those people that lives check to check, which most of my friends are middle class. I have some that are very wealthy or well off. But again, we don't have to fucking talk about it. It doesn't matter. But when I watch people do that, it's just something that I like make a note of. You're not
Well,
appealing when you do that.
mhm.
We're good.
Well,
We're
you're
good.
not like that, just for the record.
You're definitely not like that either. Okay. Fragile self esteem. Maybe this one could be me. Hold on. Hypersensitivity to criticism. Never mind. Immediately out.
Ow.
Often masked by rage, shame, or defensive-ness. No. I troll trollers on my comments so that honestly, I'm selfish. I want content, so I troll them for that. But I don't defend anything. Usually I use humor as a way to troll them back and they fucking lose their shit and then I'm like, "There it is. That's what I was expecting."
There they are.
There
There they are.
Thank you for showing me I was right. So when I say that those people that are doing that, that's what I'm seeing is like that fragile self-esteem. I think that's why a lot of people were triggered by what I was saying. And again, this video was like, "Hey, do you ever wonder why toxic people that you kicked out of your life never call after they're kicked out?" to ask why you don't talk. And I was like, newsflash, because they know. Like you said, I was going off of an experience where I saw this person for what they were. I disconnected myself. This was a friend, not a significant other, not a man, a female. And they never called to see why. It wasn't just me, actually. It was a group of friends that all disconnected. And this has happened a couple times in friendship dynamics. And I was just thinking other people might relate. All these fucking men are talking about, this is why you're single, bitch. You're never going to be happy, you fucking miserable, blah, blah, blah. One man called me a Jezebel.
Jezebel?
He'll be on next week.
Definitely from the 90s.
No, that was from the Bible. That was biblical.
Oh, biblical. Okay. I was just going back to Lauryn Hill.
Thank you at least for being creative. I love that part. But I was like, why are you so triggered by a stranger on the internet talking about not a man at all? But if the fucking shoe fits, you're toxic. That's your fragile self-esteem. And women have it too. Toxic comes in both sexes, just for the record.
Yeah. I think I've experienced more so with women.
Same.
With men, but more so with women.
Now it's only been with men on the internet, not ones I actually know. I've had a mixed bag, but I have noticed it with some women too. And a lot of it stems from jealousy, insecurity, and things like that. So again, I don't think they're necessarily narcissistic types of people or even abusive, but that's toxic in itself. Jealousy, and I don't fucks with that. Okay. Arrogance and condescension, haughty, proud attitudes, and looking down on others. You do not do that ever. You do not ever look down on people.
No, you don't either.
I look down on people.
You're always looking. Well, because you're tall, but that's the only time you look down at people, including me, because I'm
that's true.
A little shorter than you. If anything, you're always putting your hand out to help uplift others.
You're the same way.
Whether it's mood or whether it's literally putting food on their table. That's the type of person you are.
So are you. And that's probably why we're friends. So that's already, I think, 8. Is that right? And then envy dynamics. We didn't even get one yet. I will say, I think sometimes I have, which one did I say? I think grandiose, if anything, or excessive admiration. I would say excessive admiration is me, just on the principle of I do like public speaking. I do like interacting with lots of people, and it does feel good. But with all good comes bad. Having the spotlight is not always good. You're putting yourself out there for constructive criticism and also just fucked up criticism. You don't always get it constructive. Yeah. It's a double-edged sword for sure. And if I had fragile self-esteem, I wouldn't be able to fucking handle it because that kind of shit would break me very easily. So the last one's envy dynamics. Deep envy of others or their belief that everyone else envies them. What? Isn't it weird too?
Again, they have that warped
sense of reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's a difference between envy and wishing that you could have something, right? We actually have had a mutual friend like this. And you and I haven't done your episode yet, but I do want to, about trying to conceive and PCOS and all of that. But we had another friend that had issues with that as well, both you and her. And she fucking got so angry when other people got pregnant, even with me. She stopped talking to me. She wouldn't be around me. She wouldn't come to my baby shower. Like, that to me is a sign that I don't do that. I don't like that. You were never like that. I have heard you say, why would God give certain people children and not me? Right. But that's understandable.
I can relate to the struggle, but I would never be upset. Sometimes it could come off as hateful rather than feeling like, why not me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're sad and you want it. But on the flip side, the exact opposite, the belief that everyone else envies you. What? Yeah. No. I don't think anyone wants to have cancer 3 times. Or if you envy me, something's wrong with you.
You know, and I think obviously there's parts of people you can envy. Like for you, I do envy that you could literally just jump up anywhere and everybody's eyes are on you, because I'm a little bit more in my shell. I don't really like to be the center of attention. And sometimes I do wish that I could be a bit more. Obviously, I do have moments more so work wise. I can get out of my shell and be in front of people. But like in the general public, I don't care to do that. So I do envy that about you.
Yeah, but again, I think that's,
it's not like in a sick way of like,
not like,
no, I don't want to be around her. Ugh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it seems as though, based on Dr. Google, neither of us are possibly narcissists. Good job. I'm so proud of us. Just a little secret. I already fucking knew that. But that's also because I think the first fucking sign is that most narcissists or abusive people specific to that type of personality trait would never fucking think for 1 second that they're the problem or that they could be a narcissist. And I have spent multiple times throughout my life wondering if it was me. All right,
Mhm.
now we know. Perfect.
Yeah.
And moving on. So these are just some of the qualities that I think make up toxic people. And again, I don't think they need to be a narcissist in order for them to be toxic. Envy, for instance, can destroy and be corrosive within a relationship. Like you
Yeah.
said, if somebody is jealous of what you have and they want to compete with you, that eats away at the relationship foundation. You can't have a healthy relationship when that's there. Cool.
No, and it's crazy, like, even with the relationship with ex, like, anytime you stood in the spotlight, it was always a fight, and that was the envy coming out. It was kinda weird,
I
very weird.
remember I remember you telling me, and I was sitting at my vanity. I don't know why I remember this so specifically, but it like clicked in my head is that you were like, every time you want to shine, he wants to steal your light. And I'm like,
Mhm,
fuck. And again, that is not the first or last time that has happened to me. And it's unfortunate, but this wasn't just with a man. I've had this with women a lot. I had this with
mhm,
a coworker once who was a very toxic. I don't know if she is or she isn't. I don't care. But the fact that I could public speak was an issue. And I'm like, I'm using it for the better of this organization. And it was a problem. It was always a problem.
mhm,
And we ended up having so many problems because everything that I did made her feel bad about herself. And I didn't understand that because she had strengths that I don't have, I don't possess. And that's the beauty of it. Embrace the differences in one another, especially as women, right? But
yeah,
lo- long story short on that one, it wasn't just me. I found out that the cruelty, the anger, the gaslighting, the manipulation, the using people's name and status in order to look better and feel better and be a important person, that all fucking finally came to light and she no longer worked
mhm,
there. So, long story short, don't be a dick to people, don't be jealous of people. The next thing I want to talk about is the abuse cycle, but before we do, I want to say if no one has told you this, and as I said before about my own abuse, I remain silent a lot of the time. The relationship that I was in was not the first time I had experienced abuse. I had experienced types growing up as well. I would just say that it is not your fault. You need to hear that. Sarah, you have talked about your own abuse on this podcast, but then also you and I know like victims always feel like it's their fault. And because of the shame, the guilt, and even the fear of what exposing their abuser might do, they stay quiet. And I just want
mhm,
people to know it is not your fault. You have done nothing to bring this upon yourself. It is that person's fault, and you don't owe them silence, period. I needed to get on my soapbox about that. You grow up thinking that one way of living is normal. And if it's a toxic way of living, sometimes you're attracted to that because it feels more comfortable than healthy. Healthy's weird.
mhm.
You've never experienced that. That's odd. Why would I
We
want to
don't know
do
what
that?
that looks like. Yeah,
Sometimes you'll also repeat the patterns that you maybe experienced when you were younger. So for me, I always felt like I was never good enough. I constantly wanted to fix people. I gave people too many chances, the empathy portion. I would take a sob story and be like, oh my gosh, that's so sad for them. Guilt worked on me like crazy. So gaslighting me was very easy. And like I said, you do not deserve abuse. I think that sometimes we have to work on ourselves and fix those wounds so that we don't fucking fall for this shit. That is one thing that you do have control over. If you're wondering, why does this keep happening or why do I keep getting caught up in these cycles? It's not your fault that you're that way. But as you become an adult, use resources to figure out why, because that is your way out. That is your freedom out of fucking abusive relationships, period.
yeah, and it's that opportunity to step out of their warped world, you know? Because if you don't, you're always gonna think that that's normal.
Right. And in turn, you may become abusive yourself. I had
Mhm.
things that I did yelling, screaming, name calling. Now I'm like, I don't ever fucking want to do that to my
Yeah.
significant other or people that I love or care about or friends, family, any of that. Definitely not at work. Don't fucking do that. But Sarah, can you give me a little bit about your childhood and how you feel like maybe it impacted your future relationships too?
Oh, yeah. My mom is Filipino. There was a lot of manipulation or gaslighting or trying to silent me. There was things that would happen in the house and she would say, "Well, if you say something, you're not going to be able to do this." And later, as I grew up, I started learning those types of behaviors. There was one time when I was going up the stairs and I was trying to ask my mom if I could go spend the night somewhere, and she told me no repeatedly, and I was like, "Nope, I'm gonna get what I want." And I remember saying, "If you don't let me go and spend the night with this person," and we're walking down the stairs at this point, I said, "I will tell dad that you're talking to some other men."
Shit.
She turned around and slapped the shit out of me. She says, "Don't you ever blackmail me." And I had never knew what that was until that moment. But it's funny because I learned that from her. And I never blackmailed anybody after that.
She's like, that's my
No.
trick, bitch.
Exactly. So it was things like that, or trying to make you live in a false reality, just a lot of icky stuff. And she may not have all those narcissistic traits, but she's probably at least got the five. We have to talk about too, there are some balls to the wall narcissist people. I have met them, but then there are probably, I wouldn't say quieter, but they're maybe not
Covert.
so balls to the wall. Right.
Yeah.
They do it in a very sneaky way, I feel like.
They're
Yes.
victims. So it's a lot
Yes.
more like, woe is me. And that's how my ex was, very
Mm,
victimy. This happened to me and that happened to me. Some is true, some is completely fabricated. But then there's like malignant types of people that
right.
use fear outwardly, use aggression, use physical assault, use violence as a way
Right.
to
I wonder, and I'm curious to maybe look it up, but I wonder if it's like a way of survival too, because sometimes I attribute that to my mom. She was living in a third world country, and I wonder if a lot of these traits were things that she used to survive, if that makes sense. And not to call her a victim or anything like that, because I definitely think she's far from a victim. She definitely made a lot of her choices, right?
most people that are abusive or narcissistic trait type of people or toxic, they definitely experience some form of abuse. I know that my ex did. I know that my parents both did. And so sometimes they're learned behaviors that just got them through whatever that was,
Hmm.
or have a mental break to where they do this. Again, we're not psychologists. I mean, people say it hurt people, but it's true. The problem is you learned all of these as coping mechanisms, right? If they're truly a narcissist, they can't change.
No. Yeah.
They can maybe become aware, but we're talking about probably under 10%. I don't know the statistics. I'd have to
Yeah.
Google that too, but it
As
is a
much as I
very
love my mom, I don't think she's even aware. Like, I've
oh
tried
no.
to point it out to her, and it's like, it
And they won't
you
seek
know
treatment. They will not
no,
seek treatment.
ever, never, 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 and if I bring it up to them, they sometimes will slide in an apology, but the behavior never changes, you know what I
Right.
mean?
So
And
are
so
you
the
sorry?
sorry is never really, so it's one of those things is, like, I think some people can kinda coexist and learn how to have this person in their life, but at an arm's length. And
Boundaries.
boundaries for sure. And the boundaries, although may work, they have to be constantly given those boundaries. It's not like a normal person where you give them the boundary and they will never cross it. They will test it a little, sometimes, and having to remind them constantly, well, remember this was my boundary. And then it can get frustrating for me because I'm like, I hate coming off as a bia. Okay. I hate it. But it's
I
easier for me to be a bia now as I'm older.
By the way, if you don't know this about Sarah, she does not like to curse. So instead of fuck, which I say plenty for the both of us, what do you say? What the
Fluck?
what the fluck?
What the
Yeah.
what the fluck?
And then a
Or
bia means a
yeah.
bitch. For all of you that didn't grow up in like the 2000s, like bia, why you acting like a bia? Okay, so because we were gangster at one point, it's fine. I appreciate you sharing that, and it's hard because you still love your family. You love your
Yeah.
parents. I love my parents, both of them. I know for certain one of my parents, my grandmother, she definitely had all of these traits, all of these qualities. So to me, sometimes I'm like, maybe some of this was learned behavior, and this
Yeah.
is just how they parent because that's how they were parented. And because the abuse is not physical abuse or sexual abuse, it doesn't seem abusive. But that's the problem for me is
And
like,
they're like, "I turned out just fine."
I'm fine. I'm fine. You're fine.
You're being
Look at you. You're
sensitive.
strong and resilient. Well, fucking thank you. You're not wrong. But also, I had to do a lot of work and fucking therapy, and no one's paid those bills but me. But again, as an adult, I took responsibility for my own health and my own mental health. And I also created boundaries. Love my family. I've created boundaries. Some are much firmer than others. But I have decided that for me, if you take more than you give in my life, if you harm more than you help, because I survived such a shitty relationship and cancer, if you even remind me or make me feel the way that that person made me feel, I don't want you around me. Period. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a narcissist or not. I don't care if you're blood. You are not going to be in my presence around me. You don't get to do that. Life is too short. And for me, I really truly want peace. I'm at a place in my life where I'm done fighting. I cannot change you. I can't change your behavior. All I can do is change what access I give you to me, what I allow you to get out of me, because I can't keep putting myself in a position where I'm harmed constantly. I have to take my own blame for that. So if I take a step back and I don't do that, you can't treat me that way anymore. The end.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. I'm 40 years old and just figuring it out. It is not easy, but it can be done. And I want people to know that. Nobody deserves to treat you like shit, and you don't deserve to get treated like shit.
Right.
And the whole, but their family, or, well, they never treated me like that. Okay, great. Well, then good luck to you. Enjoy that relationship. Here's the other thing. This might be kind of surprising. Maybe you have a different relationship dynamic where they don't treat you that way because of who you are, but they do because of who I am. So that's just where I'm at with it. Anyway, enough about our personal experiences, right? I think another important thing for people to know is with people, especially if they're in the narcissistic trait realm, there is an abuse cycle that is very specific. In general, I think one that's important before I go over that is DARVO. It's deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. At first, it's usually when somebody who's abusive is confronted and they're told, hey, you're gaslighting me, or I don't like how you're doing this. You actually confront them about their shitty behavior, right? That's when they do this. So at first they'll deny it and they'll be like, no, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. What are you talking about? And let's say you're like, no, here's this text that I have of you texting other women. We're just going to use that as an example, significant other. Not that I've been there or anything. Oh, wait, I have. It's an ex. Go listen to it. Shameless plugs. So here's these 400 texts to these women. You did do that. They're like, nope, didn't happen. Straight face. Nope. I don't know what you're talking about.
And nowadays it's probably, oh, it's AI. It's AI.
Oh, yeah, that's AI. Haters are going to say it's AI. No, that wasn't me. So then they'll attack you. Why the fuck are you looking at that anyway? What's wrong with you? Are you crazy? You must be the psycho looking at the cell phone bill.
Wow, you got a lot of time.
Yeah. All of that shit. Wait a minute. Wasn't it you that told me to text all these women? Wasn't that you? They're attacking. And then they reverse victim and offender. So then all of the sudden, they are the one that's the victim of you being the psycho crazy person looking at their fucking text and being intrusive in their life. And you're the offender. You're the fucked up one. You're the bad one.
Or they do it in a way of like, you never give me attention. And that's, you pushed me to that. What else should I have done? I've been telling you that I need this love and affection and you didn't.
This is your fault. If you just love me more. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So DARVO, learn it, look it up. I will actually put that on my podcast blog. I will probably recycle a lot of the things that I put on the X one because those are such good resources, but I'll put a couple more as well because I do think that something that you might need, which is what I've had to learn, is how to be non-reactive or not allow somebody who's confrontational and trying to bring out that bad side of you or that ugly side of you.
Yeah.
It may still trigger you, but if you learn certain ways to react to it, I think it's helpful. I've just learned that from reading and watching a lot of professionals that are psychologists and discuss how to handle these behaviors.
It's also just building your emotional intelligence. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So.
I agree. I struggle with that still. When I love somebody or care about somebody or they have a say in, for instance, with an ex, it would be you have kids together. They can still push those fucking buttons because they have your children that you have to share with them. So I do understand this is not easy. But again, nowadays, you know what I do? I call this bitch, I call Sarah. I'm like, hey, this is happening. Let me freak the fuck out. And then she talks me off the fucking cliff. I don't react. That's the biggest thing. I do not react. I don't send a text. I don't say anything. I wait. I talk it out. I might freak the fuck out, but then I come up with either, does this need a response? That's the biggest thing. Is a response required? And if so, I need to get to the point. I'm not defending myself. I'm not going to try to have a conversation or fix this. I just need to be matter of fact, black and white, and done. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have we freaked out where we're reactive about the person, but we don't do it to the person because we, one, don't want to give them the time or day. But there has been many times when I've called you up and you're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen her like this before. But it's definitely much needed to call that trusted person and do it to them rather than give them the luxury of seeing you like that.
Yes. Call your friend. You need like that one person. You are that one person to me. If I'm going to lose my shit and freak out, usually I call you because you know me well enough to let me feel all the feelings. But then you're also like, okay, you've learned this, remember? Or you'll put it in a different perspective like, hey, maybe that's actually a really good sign because look, they're annoyed and you're getting at them because you're not responding and you're not reacting. Like you learned all this. You've already done this. So you just need a friend that will tell you like it is, but also remind you of who the fuck you are and what you're capable of and what you've already learned. So I love you. Thank you for being that
Love
person
you.
for me. But you can't trust
Yes.
everyone with this job. You really need to
No.
pick carefully.
Yeah.
And if you don't have people to talk to, I really, really think you need a counselor. You do need therapy. I have found it helpful in multiple times in my life, especially when I was dealing with trying to heal. If you still have people like this in your life, sometimes it re-triggers that. So I have gone back to therapy to figure out, okay, how do I reset these boundaries? What am I doing wrong in this scenario that's allowing this behavior again? And I've had to reorient myself basically. So this is redundant if you've watched X, but we'll just talk about it very briefly. The 3 to 4 cycles, if they are a person that might have narcissistic traits, the idealization phase or the love bombing phase, where they have intense affection, excessive praise, rapid commitment, and making you feel like the perfect partner. But in this phase, they're also going to be doing something called mirroring, which is where they pretend to be exactly who you need them to be. So they really seem like your perfect partner. It's crazy. And what we were talking about earlier, well, they will share like what they've went through. And like you said, Sarah, you don't share back. That had to be learned by you because when you
Right.
used to share back, it was then used as leverage to make you feel like
Mhm.
shit or to gaslight you into feeling like you were the toxic one. You were the one that was crazy. That was the biggest thing in my last relationship. Look at you. Your family's toxic, so you're crazy too. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Here's the most fucked up part is they start making you believe that about yourself. But we're
Yep.
not there yet. That's another phase. But have you ever experienced love bombing?
Yeah. Relationship wise, it was friendship or even like my parent making me feel like I'm the only one that can listen and I'm the only one that can take care of my siblings and you're here for me. Your dad's not here for me. And it does make me feel like I am more responsible. But then the next thing you know, when I'm trying to do a adult or responsible thing, I get shot down. So not in a like romantic relationship, but
I've even had it with like friends. So to me now a red flag is when somebody's like, "Oh my god, you're so amazing. I really want to be your friend. We should be friends." I'm like, "No." Now I've learned I don't
yeah.
no. I don't want to be your friend.
Especially when they're pressing, they're pressing it
I don't like that.
and they start inviting themselves to things that you're going to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, it looks different from different people, but some things to look for are people that want to get serious fast. They will tell you they love you fast. They will tell you, I've never felt this way about anybody. I've never had a love like this. I've never felt like this, especially within the first few weeks of a relationship. Red flag, fucking flag on the field. Okay. Again,
Yeah.
I'm speaking from direct experience and I fucking fell for every one of those flags. Okay. So, pot kettle bitch, I've been there. People wanting to get deep quickly. I am one of those people. I like to cut the bullshit and learn about you. But if they're doing it in order to extract information out of you, that's a lot different. Anybody that seems too good to be true, they will be like that for an extended period of time if they're a decent person. If they're not, eventually you will see a chink in the armor or they will start to show themselves a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think time overall is the biggest indicator. If you give someone a lot of time, they're not trying to move in, tell you they love you, get married within the first 3 to 6 months of your relationship.
Now, do you think oversharing falls under this? Because I know sometimes I'm guilty of oversharing.
I think it depends on the intent behind it, right? I tell strangers here on the podcast shit. And I know you overshare too. Now, I can connect with people and read them better, so I trust myself more to give them that. I think you do too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before,
That's fair. Yeah.
especially with men, I would just throw it all out there. And healthy men would be like, that's a lot, right? Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
which is fine. I used to be offended, but now I'm like, I shouldn't fucking tell them all this. I need to leave a little goddamn mystery to this. Where's Shaggy and Scooby and fucking the gang?
Mystery machine.
Yes, but you have to build trust. You shouldn't show everyone all of who you are. They need to earn access to that. That's a big deal.
Absolutely.
And because I had low self esteem as well, I think that I didn't realize that. I didn't value those things about myself. I thought, oh, if I throw all this out there, like they'll bond with me. That's crazy. No. So don't do what I did. Learn from our lessons, okay? Idolization, love bombing, mirroring is involved in that. Them telling you all the things you want to hear. Buying gifts can be, but it just depends on who you are. And they'll learn you and what works for you. So those are the things you're going to get. They're like, oh, let's go on a trip. Let me give you a new ring. Let me give you flowers every day. And then as soon as the next phase starts or they've got you, this shit all ceases. It stops. And it only comes back when they have fucked up so bad that you're ready to leave or you're done or you see them for what they are. Then you get that love bombing phase or that idolization again. Next one is devaluation, sudden criticism, emotional withdrawal, gaslighting, constant boundary pushing, and making you feel like you can do nothing right. Now, the can do nothing right part, I think everyone feels like that in your marriage sometimes where you're like, fuck, I just can't do anything right. That's not this. So please, God, do not go and like tell
Now
your
don't be
husband.
saying, "Oh, my wife or my husband's a narcissist."
Plot twist, still alive, told me to divorce you because no, I'm not saying that. You always feel like that in relationships, even in friendships. Sarah, you and I have had that within each other. I didn't show you appreciation about something and you're like, man, I can't do anything right. Not the same, okay? Because I
No.
also say, I'm sorry you feel that way. Let's talk about it. These
Yeah.
motherfuckers do not do that. Ain't no
No.
apology happening unless it's from you.
What? Say sorry
Get
without
the fuck
wanting
out of here.
something in return?
What does apologize mean? So gaslighting is huge. A lot of times will accuse you of what they're actually doing. They'll make you feel like you're the problem. They'll say it's you. It's crazy. I think that most people have experienced being gaslit at some point in their life. And again, the person may not have been a narcissist because you do. Sometimes you gaslight other people and say, well, I'm feeling this way because of you, and this is your issue, and you're projecting onto them. But they use this as a fucking strategic tool. It's a way to bring you down. The whole part of this phase is just to knock you down.
Well, it's so weird because they build you up and then they tear you down. They build you up and then they tear you down.
That's what creates a trauma bond, though. Those highs and those lows, it starts to happen more and more, and the highs are further and further in between. It actually makes your brain chemically dependent on it. You are literally like a crack fiend, like, can I get a hit, man? Like Dave Chappelle, come on, cuz I need a hit. I mean that. And I know because I've experienced it. So when people say, well, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you just leave? I fucking tried. I can't even tell you the amount of times I tried to leave, but I always ended up getting love bombed and I was empathetic. So I kept giving chance after chance. Again, it's not your fault. And anyone who asks that has never experienced that. And thank God you haven't because it's fucking horrific. And then if you actually leave because of the trauma bond, you have a physical reaction to it. You literally feel like you're going through withdrawals. You feel physical pain. You're anxious. You stay up for nights and nights. You don't sleep. You wonder what the fuck just happened. You're blaming yourself because you've
What
also
could you have
lived
done to not make this occur? Yeah.
right. And so it's a actual chemical reaction in your brain. So when you ask people why they haven't left, that's why they're addicted to it. And this phase is really about breaking you down to the point where you question your own reality. You don't know who the fuck you are anymore. You don't even feel like you could function without them. And you're absolutely addicted to them. So then once they do that and they've used you up, that's when they go for the discard. That's an abrupt rejection, silent treatment, or abandonment when you are no longer providing emotional validation or fuel. And that's the biggest thing is like, they do all of this for fuel. Most people that are like this absolutely hate themselves. Even though they might be grandiose and say, oh, all these great things about themselves, they actually hate themselves. The only way to make them feel better is to do this. Now, when we're talking about these cycles, there's a fourth one that's may or may not happen. Sometimes people discard and they don't come back around because they have other people within those cycles that they can call upon, or their new fuel, aka their new victim. And usually they already have them set up before they even fucking discard you because they can't be without it. They have to have it. It's like fucking oxygen to them. So once they discard, they do something called hoovering if they want you back, especially if you left them, which is kind of what happened in my scenario. And it's happened in friendships too. With women, I haven't noticed any trying to hoover me back in. I think because they saw the writing on the wall and I was like, we're not friends. The end. Bridges burned down to the ground. I ate the fucking ashes. I shit them out and then I buried the shit. Like, we're done. But men are different. It's like they take that rejection and they want it. So they try to hoover you back by sucking you back in with the love bombing and all that. And again, in this relationship, the cycle just continues within it. It's not like, okay, here's the love bombing one time. No, it's the way they get you back. So it goes love bomb, devalue you all over again, make you feel like shit all over again, and then discard you again. And even if you're in this, I will say from experience, I have had one person like this go to therapy, but it's only because that was a requirement that I made to stay in the relationship. And even when we were honest, the therapist was like, yeah, there's something wrong with this one. And you probably have PTSD because of this one. And I'm like, oh my God, like they see it. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Ma. But we could never see that therapist again. And then we ended up going to another one. So they always find a way around going and being held accountable. There's no accountability happening in this. Those are basic cycles of this. Have you ever experienced any of these at all?
Not to that degree. Or
Actually,
and mine might have been some subtle stuff, maybe. I don't know.
we talked about this. When we were doing my story of X, you were like, oh, I don't know what that's like. And I would still be like, what are you doing? You would be questioning me as my friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like your relationship was the first that I had ever really experienced that, to that degree. Mine have always been maybe, like I said, with my mom. It didn't click that she may or is narcissist, but I think because hers was maybe a little bit more subtle and far in between. Also, I didn't live with her past 12. So there wasn't a whole lot of everyday interaction with this person. So that's why in that podcast, I'm asking a lot of genuine questions for the people that were listening because I felt that way when I was your friend. But
Yeah, I think that's a great example that you're not going to understand if you haven't went through it. Just like me going
Mhm.
through cancer, people who have not went through cancer don't know what that's like. Somebody who's a co-survivor like you were with my cancer as well, you could look in and say, this is what it felt like for me to watch this, but you cannot relate exactly to what it feels like to be diagnosed, to go through the treatments and all of that. And I would never want someone to have to. But
Right.
again, I think so many people come from a judgmental space. Well, you stayed. Well, why did you stay? Again, to fucking set the record straight for anyone that's abused in this way specifically, it doesn't even have to be physical, but it can be. It can be sexual, it can be mental. That's still abuse. And they stay because they are addicted. So stop asking that question. That's a shitty
Yes.
question to ask. And the other thing what people say that I hate hearing and I think is really fucking toxic to say, well, you picked them. No, I picked what they showed me. They showed me
What
and
they mirrored.
yeah, they mirrored. They heard everything that I wanted. They pretended to be that. They were not that fucking person. That's who I ended up with.
What
So,
do they say? They hooked you when they were fishing.
anyway, so we just wanted to give you guys an idea of what the signs are, what the abuse cycle might look like. Toxic people come in all forms. We're not just talking about romantic relationships
Or men.
or men.
Okay.
There's plenty of toxic bitches out there. Plenty of toxic women. I've experienced several, and most of them are no longer in my life. I actually pride myself now because I have friends like you. I really have a high standard for friendship. And once you're my friend, I'm a very loyal person. So if somebody is kicked out of my circle, I think it's very telling. If someone is no longer my friend, I think the type of person that I am, and it's the same with you, like the type of person that I am speaks volumes. So even if you wanted to step into another room and talk shit about me, good luck with that because that is not going to be their experience with me, especially now. I
Mhm.
had to go through enough shitty fake people to figure that one out.
Yeah, for sure. Have you been able to listen to your own episodes? And I guess one, can you understand why people would ask those types of questions? And you've mentioned this, yes, a few times, but also how do you feel?
If you have not listened to X, this is the part where you go away. You've been warned. This is the fucking do not enter sign on the haunted house and like the murderers like peeking out. Go away. Bye. Do not enter. Yeah, releasing it. There were so many feelings about it. I was anxious. I thought people would judge me. I was talking about the darkest, scariest things that I probably have ever done, ever experienced, but I owned everything that I talked about. And it does help that I'm fucking unemployed currently and this is my gig and momming. But I was nervous there would be retaliation because whenever you deal with people like this, you always worry about maybe something happening. And honestly, I think I even mentioned it in the episodes. I recently just listened to them again before we did this episode because I was like, did I leave anything out? Should I have mentioned other things? And overall, I think I did a really good job at covering all of the cycles, what it looks like in real time when I was experiencing it. But I also wanted to leave room that a lot of other people might experience it in a different way that is still going to fall underneath like a hoovering cycle or a devaluation. It's not going to be the same thing exactly. I honestly feel liberated. I feel really good about
Good.
it. I had multiple friends reach out to me, several I knew that were definitely in an abusive relationship similar. And they were like, listening to your episode made me remember things that I had pushed down, but in a good way where I could actually give myself some grace and see it for what it was instead of blaming myself or feeling like it was me and it was my fault or I should be shameful. Because again, the things I talk about, I was very ashamed. Those things kept me quiet. The biggest thing that you can do is see somebody for what they are. And they do not recommend exposing people like this. But for me, I also know that in order for this person, because I didn't name them, to confront me about this, they would have to expose themselves too and acknowledge that they did those things. And like
Mhm.
we said, people like this are never going to acknowledge that. So I had that in my favor. Okay.
Do you feel like it closes that chapter for you? And like,
For sure. I happen to share children with this person. It's really hard to not be pulled back into the bullshit. And every 6 months or so, there were just random times where he will pop up and rear his ugly head, and then he'll suddenly act like he never did anything at all. Actually, around the time that I was releasing this, I was going through some shit I was unaware of. And I'm not going to get into the details, but very long story short, I had him make a police report and get CPS involved over something that was not
existent?
non-existent. Yes, non-existent. And he even went to the extreme of putting my child through a CPS interview. And I didn't know that he had done all that when I was making this content. I was just recording it and editing it. You and I had actually recorded it a month or two before I even
Hmm.
released it. And I was going back and forth like, should I not? I don't know.
Yeah.
Things have been quiet lately. I get lulled into the full sense of like, oh, there's not going to be drama. But that's never actually the case because no matter what, this was already happening. Come to find out, it was actually based on a police report made the year prior. And I'm just like, how could you even follow up on that a year later? But it's also because, again, he wanted something. I would not comply with that because it was a legal thing. And I had learned from the first scenario that I'm not just going to sign paperwork. Now, everything that happens, I go through a lawyer. I ask a lawyer, hey, would you sign this? It was to change custody. And I would not comply until he changed the things that my lawyer said. And he just stopped talking, stopped bringing up changing the decree, changing the custody agreement. And then lo and behold, there's a CPS case a couple months later because he wants to move somewhere. He has a new significant other in another place. And I'm the problem. I'm holding him back from doing that. And since he couldn't have it one way, what's crazy is now I can stand outside of it and see it. But it still fucks with you. If someone calls the cops and gets CPS involved in your family life, it's scary as fuck. You're like, what do you mean?
Mhm.
Also,
Yeah.
the information that was given to me was very, we did this because of this X, Y, and Z. And now our child is going to be going to therapy for this through CPS. And I'm like, what? So I had to go through all of these hoops to get all the paperwork. I take nothing that is told to me by this person for truth or fact. I followed up. I got the police report. I printed it out. I went to the CPS people. I got that information. I went to the counseling center. I talked to everybody. I got all of the proof I needed before I even discussed this with this person. And
Yeah, because you wanted to stay factual and not
right,
get sucked into
sucked
la
into
world.
the false reality, right? When I'm reading I have to fucking share this. The funny thing is, you and I had recorded that episode month or two prior. I'm reading the police report, and he's literally bringing up that his family members are cops in the police report. It's like a part of his fucking personality, and I fucking died laughing. Like, I thought of reading this, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Also, everything in the police report, I don't know who wrote this thing, but it almost felt like they were like, and then this person said this, like, fuck, rolling my eye because they're calling me wasting my time making this fucking report when there's nothing wrong.
Mhm.
So,
And that's how everybody was when you finally got to talk to everybody involved. They were giving you that validation for you, even
correct.
like,
But here's the
you
dilemma.
know,
I talked to lawyers, I talked to the detectives, I talked to the CPS people. Unless somebody makes multiple reports over and over and over, I legally still cannot do anything. So I'm just kind of stuck. And so I'm like, why the fuck am I going to hold back a story? I was concerned it might affect me, it might affect my custody.
yeah, it's because that's what they like to do is instill fear.
Correct. So, first of all, my children are not allowed to listen to this podcast until they're 18 years old. But secondly, I'm telling the truth. And I also have paperwork, notes, texts, even recordings, years of shit that I have collected. And I'm like, what could he do with this? Why am I going to stop when you already fuck with my life? Me releasing this is not going to make you stop fucking with my life, and you already did. When I went to talk to these people, releasing this gave me this fucking high. I was like, "You know what? No, I'm not allowing this." And I talked to the people at the counselor center. I'm like, does my child have to go here? Because this place is specific for abused children. And even your report says that is not the case. So why would I bring my child here? And they're like, no, your ex wants them to go here. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I will take him to counseling or therapy, but I'm not going to use a resource
Not
that
at
is
this specific place. Yeah.
specific to children that are abused. They're also a nonprofit. So I'm going to use that funding that's for children in need for my kid that doesn't need it. No, I'm tired of living in fear. So liberating for sure. And I said, if it helps one person, that's what's important to me. And I had multiple friends reach out. I had other women reach out. I had women that I think either knew him or knew something about him reach out and validate me. And I was just like, this is incredible. I got way more emotional freedom and liberation from it than I ever expected. This is the dark part of me. Because of my health things, I always think to myself, what if I died? I do. I think about that. And so for me, having my own story, my own account recorded for my children, for the people that know me, if that person is responsible for telling them about the person that I am, what happened in the relationship, why we aren't together, it's already changed for each person he's been with, whatever the story is. I don't want my kids hearing it from anyone. I don't think they need to hear it now. They're children. I don't talk about it with them now, but I also want there to be a safe hold just in case something ever happens to me. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at with it.
I think it's actually a really healthy thing.
I mean, I feel like it was therapeutic as fuck. I feel really, really good about it. And for people that ask, well, why can't you just get along? Why can't you just be nice and have birthday parties
It's
together?
like I do. I'm cordial when I have to be, but I don't go out of my way to be mean if that's what you guys think that's going on. But
No,
I can truly say you don't.
I
You
don't.
are just withdrawn in the sense of like if you can avoid being in the same room as this person, you do. But when it comes to your children, you're always cordial. You're not going out of your way to be like, "Hey, how's your day?" Nothing like that, but you're not intentionally rude or intentionally trying to make things uncomfortable for your kids.
Yes, all to what you were saying. Yes, I do my best to get along. I also do my best to make sure that I never have technical difficulties. However, that is why my background has changed because plot twist, bitch, we had some. It's fine. Everything's fine. Now I'm just sitting on the floor in my living room. You're welcome. But let's get back into it. So, like you said, yes, I am never mean intentionally, but my boundaries are very firm. The biggest thing is I want low conflict, as low conflict as possible. So, the less that I have to interact or we have to be around each other, the smaller chance of us getting into it. Because at the end of the day, for my kids, I don't want them to be a part of that or see that. It's always been high conflict. It probably always will be. And this is limited. Another big step that I took that I should have done years ago, and I'm kicking myself for not, and I highly recommend to people, is getting an app that records everything and can be used in court. I decided to do that after that whole experience because I'm like, fuck this. You're never going to send me a text again that is vague or states one thing, and then I have to do all this research to find out the truth. So now that's only what we use. I will not accept phone calls, emails, or text any other way.
Outside
It
of
has
that.
to come through the app.
What's the app name?
Mm, Our Family Wizard. Our Family Wizard. But be careful. Every state and legal system requires something separate. I specifically got this one from my lawyer. So make sure that you're using one you are able to use in court. And another little thing a lot of people don't know is I would still keep your own notes because I did. I kept notes for everything that occurred during that time just for me to have. But if you're taking screenshots, this cuts all that out. You don't have to do that anymore. But if you are still working on screenshots of texts and things like that, you always need to have the actual phone number. So make sure that you take the name out, even if it's previous ones, and then screenshot it because a lot of times you could put that person's name on anything. That's something that I learned doing research as well. Just keep good notes, make sure you're doing it legally and ensure you're following that, and then do an app. When in doubt, just fucking have an app.
I was going to tell them my brother uses Close App and was able to use that in our county courts.
There you go. Perfect. So check those out. I'll go ahead and put that on the blog. If you need the resources that we talked about tonight, or some of them, most of them are going to be from the X episode, but I'll probably copy and paste a lot of those to the blog for this week. I do want to also have ways to handle certain people that are toxic on there as well as Darvo and a few other things. So check
Amen.
out our blog. It's on our website.
Live at some point, so we'll have to plan that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Queen.
I would love
You
to
read
see
my fucking
people's
mind.
comments. I'd like to Google diagnose some other people. Let us know what y'all are handling or dealing with, whether it's friendships, spouses, or, boyfriends, whatever.
The doctors will see you now. 18 and up.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sure I can set that parameter. I can do lives on here. I didn't even realize that. Great fucking idea. You read my mind.
Yes. And
Okay.
then don't forget about
And
the F it list, or,
the
it's
flock it.
title. It's the Fluck It list, or yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
it list.
Yes.
You're so cute.
So if you want to do anything with Krystal, you want to have her go explore something in your neighborhood, in your neck of the woods, slide into them DMs, slide into them emails, slide them into all these things.
I need to actually redo my list. The one that we made when I first created the website definitely needs a few things changed. I did check off a couple things, but you and I still need to be in a movie as an extra. So if anybody knows anybody, or a Wheat Thins commercial, full circle.
I did finish, eating all of those Wheat Thins during our break.
So Wheat Thins.
Yes, come on.
That was your free.
Yes.
Let us know.
Amen. And Landman, I'm in West Texas and y'all are filming in and around over here. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool?
I would love to be an extra in Landman. I will work in the strip club on Landman. I don't care. Let me do
Allie
it.
Larder,
to
meet her, I would be like dead.
Allie Larder?
Mm-hmm.
My God, obsessed.
Yeah.
I just need to know her workout routine.
Same.
Honestly.
And her face stuff. Yeah.
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah. I also want to know what it was like to touch Idris Elba because he's so fucking hot and she was in obsession with him. Anyway, not the obsession now. There's a new obsession, which I just saw, by the way. It freaked my husband out.
Yeah.
I'm way off topic, but since we love horror movies, have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I did. I loved it. We watched Backroom and I felt like I wasted my time. But then I saw Obsession and I was like,
actually, so if we're talking about toxic people, that was super fucked. But women And men act like that when they're insane, not just when a wish is made. But also, another really good movie that is such a good example is there's two. It Ends With Us, the one where there's all that drama with Blake Lively. That one does a really good job of showing what a relationship's like, and then at the end, kind of stepping out of it and having the revelation that this person was abusive.
Right.
But so does that one we watched that has Amanda Seyfried in it and Sydney Sweeney. Is it Housemaid?
Yes, I think it is called Housemaid.
Yeah, another one. That one's a little bit
You
extreme,
say it's
but I'm telling you,
Seyfried?
I was
thought
watching
it was Seyfried, but whatever.
the beautiful one with the blonde hair and the big eyes.
Yeah.
Her.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. Seyfried, fuck, whatever. Really good movie. Aside from the political shit, they were both really great movies, but they also were really good at depicting victim and abuse. And a lot of times, how the person that is the explosive one and the crazy one is really because the abuser is gaslighting them, doing a smear campaign, getting flying monkeys. They seem rich and important and blah, blah, blah. Fucking watch those, especially Housemaid. Housewife?
No, Housemaid.
It's Housemaid?
Yeah, not
I can
handmaid.
Google it.
That's
I didn't Google
Handmaid's
that
Tale.
before this.
Tale.
Anyway, blog for resources. Follow me on socials. Unfortunately, but also fortunately, whenever you want to push your business or your podcast, you kind of become a content creator. And I'm actually really fucking funny. You want to laugh at my cringy shit. So Facebook, Instagram, and my over 40 TikTok. Most of it's the same shit. So if you follow one, just follow all. And then leave us a fucking review. 5-star, make me holla honey boo boo, please. And thank you. Obviously, I want it to be honest, but bitch, you know you want to give us 5 stars. If you want to be a guest,
Yes.
email us or slide up into my DMs. You can watch on YouTube now and Spotify. But if you're still listening, you're missing our beautiful fucking faces. So get it together and you can listen and then watch. It's fine. It still counts. But other than that, Sarah, we got to end this shit the right way. So let's go ahead and do a high five. Still alive, and do your evil laugh. Your little fingers, you're so cute.
Brothers.
Fuck. Sarah! God damn it, you know what?
Was it recording?
No, it's recording.
Oh,
but they're
roach.
on the damn, and I don't have pants on.
Same, I don't either.
What the fuck? Can we not just have one normal goddamn episode?
I'm
where
like,
I don't have
God,
to do
what are
shit
you
like
trying
this?
to tell us? Is this a God thing?
I think we're too much. We're too much.
Or is there...
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I can't even sit on the fucking floor now. I can't do it. I can't. Now I have to kill it. You're going to have to wait. And I'm going to have to record the whole thing. So just hold on.
Man,
And I have to put
major
this
bloopers.
on.
Major.
I would also just like to say, for the record, for the bloopers, I'm not a dirty bitch. We live right next to the lake and have a ton of trees. And so we get these massive fucking cockroaches, and I'm terrified of them. And one was on my floor just now. And now I have to fucking find it and kill it because I can't finish recording this bitch until it's dead, because then it'll crawl on me.
See, hunting. Hopefully it's attracted to light. Maybe it'll come. Oh, these look like sunglasses. This is cool. La cucaracha. Did you find it? Why don't you just sit? Let's finish recording. I'm sure it'll try to crawl back up on you again. And then you can swat it. You're like, Hunger! How did you know it was by you? Watch it go across your camera. That would be hilarious. Do you have a chancla next to you just in case?
I knew it was next to me because I have a sixth sense about them. I'm not kidding. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw one. I was like, and I get paranoid. So, okay, where are we at? Plot twist. Still alive!